everybody, welcome to the weekly recap. As you can tell, I'm out here in the garage. I'm not in the car in Studio A, but nonetheless, it is Friday, and this is the weekly recap. Now, I don't have my own coronavirus report this week. As a matter of fact, I've been inundated with news about it, so I don't propose to do any more coverage of the coronavirus. But having said that, I received a video from my daughter, Eileen, who has temporarily moved out of her apartment in Manhattan and is now living with her sister Kathleen and Paul Jordan and Mary Kate. And she decided to come up with a show, and it's Life in the Time of Coronavirus. And it's chapter 1. Now, what I've done, she did a really nice job with it. What I've done is I put a link to that video at the tail end of this report. So what you do is you click on that, watch the video, and I fully recommend that you subscribe to her channel, which you'll be able to do when you're right there. Because I know this is chapter 1. I know she's going to have chapter 2, 3, 4. You know, I'm hoping, I'm sure, she will keep going. Well, anyway, down here, things aren't all that restrictive. I mean, they closed the Eagles, which is a problem, but otherwise you're pretty much able to get out and about. So this week I was able to put together what is turning into a recap favorite segment, namely the police blotter, and here it is. Some people define golf as a good walk spoiled. Well, for one Vero Beach resident this week, the game itself was pretty good, but then some moron tried to score a hole-in-one on him after he was all done. We sent out our team to investigate. Last week, Ray Yasso, a local resident, had a great afternoon playing golf. The weather was great. He broke 100, which is not fabulous, but it's pretty good for most of us. The problem was when he came back here into the parking lot for the clubhouse to load up his golf clubs. As Ray was loading the clubs back in the car, he was surprised. A man came up, stole his golf cart, and stole the clubs that went with him, and he took off across that golf course. But as the suspect drove across the golf course, another golfer, Jim Lamacchio, spotted him and chased him. And he chased him over here. This is a parking lot for the condos that are on the 9th hole on the golf course. Jim pulled him aside, tackled him, got him to the ground, and held him until the police arrived. Now, when the police arrived, it was Officer Rodriguez, and Jim had to assist the officer in subduing this guy. But Jim got him, really alert on his part, spotting the fact that that this guy was driving a stolen golf cart. And of course, Ray was very, very happy to get the golf cart and his clubs back. After a brief struggle in the parking lot, the suspect was taken to Indian River County Jail, where he was identified as Jermaine Marlon Akins, 36 years old. When he got there, he was charged with 3 crimes. The first one is grand theft auto. Turns out that golf cart was gasoline powered and it was worth about $8,000. He was charged with grand theft for attempting to steal the golf clubs. They're valued at about $1,100. And finally, he was charged with resisting arrest. Jim Lamacchio tried to restrain him at the scene, waiting for the officer to show up. When the officer got there, he had a hard time getting handcuffs on Jermaine. Jermaine tried to flee, and between Lamacchio and the officer, he was brought under control. So consequently, he gets charged with resisting arrest. 3 felonies, pretty serious. And by the way, Jermaine is not going to be out on the course anytime soon. Yeah, what a moron this guy is, trying to steal a golf cart. I don't know where he was going. I've driven all over that area, and it just makes no sense to me. Anyway, okay, so there's the police blotter, and then I decided I would go back into Vero Beach history and take a look at Vero Beach during World War II. Because Vero Beach did figure fairly prominently in World War II, you know, for a little place in Florida. And here it is. Now, let me hasten to say that I didn't get the audio that great on this. I did my best, but I've really got to keep working on it. But anyway, it's just a couple of minutes, and I think you'll find it informative. I'm outside the Vero Beach Airport. 1942 to 1946, this was part of the Vero Beach Naval Air Station. In 1942, the Navy acquired 1,500 acres around here to serve as a base for training fighter pilots. There were 1,500 men stationed in this, on these 1,500 acres, 300 waves, and they ended up training over 1,400 fighter pilots for the war. The Naval Air Station at Vero Beach was connected with the Fort Pierce Amphibious Training Center. That's where they did the underwater demolition teams. And they had a subsidiary base in Sebastian. The planes they trained on were Hellcats from Grumman, various varieties of them. And also they trained on the Brewster Buccaneer. The Brewster Buccaneer was regarded as the worst plane manufactured in World War II. Over 100 pilots lost their lives right out here in Vero Beach. In 1946, the Navy deeded these 1,500 acres back to Vero Beach, and it became, of course, the local airport. But the rest of it got used for Indian River County offices, Dodgertown, Piper Cup Factory, and I suppose some housing someplace around here. There goes the jet. So anyway, the thing that impresses me about little old Vero Beach in World War II is how mammoth the effort the United States put into World War II. I mean, here, it's spread out over the entire country, and you've got all these people right here in this little place training pilots, and you say to yourself, gee, this is repeated throughout the entire country. How could anybody possibly think that they could go to war with us and win? So anyway, there was Vero Beach in World War II, and my next report is I've been showing you progress on the house they're building behind us, and I sent the drone up this week to take another look at how they're doing on the roof. Here's a few seconds worth of building this house behind us. Okay, that's my report. I'm assuming that I'll still be able to keep going out and keep shooting. I'm probably going to turn my attention a little bit to photography, maybe go through pictures that we've got and, get rid of the junky ones and tune up the good ones and maybe put together a slideshow or two. So if I do that, all of that'll show up here on this channel, this Facebook page. So you may want to check it out. Certainly check out Eileen's video, which is coming up. A link to it will be coming up next. And everybody do the best you can with this virus. We'll see you here next week. Everybody take care.